Okay, this second one was easier than that. Trivial, really. We've got a set of data. It was trivial if you could remember how to access 2D array. That's the only thing that that you could screw up on this one. Right. They want you to accept a code from the user. There is one mark up for grabs straight away. So I'm just going to put in, I don't know how I'm going to do this yet, but I'm going to write one line. I'm going to start on the left-hand edge. So I'm just going to say code equals, and then if I'm using JavaScript I might say prompt, but you can put input, enter place code. I'm making the user know what they've got to do. I could say please, but I can't bother to write it. Right, one mark straight off. Right, they basically then want us to do is whatever code you put in, put the full name out, print the full name out. That's all they want. Okay? It's in a 2D array. So I'm going to do some annotation on this. No need to validate any input, which is nice. You can assume the array's full. Did they give a name to it? Oh, airports. There's the name. They could have made that stand out a bit, but hey. Right, so this is called airport. So I'm just going to annotate my diagram. It's a 2D array, so we can't use just one index. There's going to be two. So I'm going to write to myself row and column. Okay, so we have actually got 1, 2, 3. Oh, I knew I wasn't going to be able to do that. My brain was not going to do that. Right, so we've actually got 3, 4, 5, 6. It looks like they were really struggling for airport names. Seems like they had to put Paris Charles de Gaulle and that screwed all the formatting up. But there you go. Right, there are 8 rows. But there are 2 columns. So we've got column 0 and column 1. So 2 columns. So we've got a code. So we need to search in column 0 for each row and compare it with our code that we had entered. If we find it, we're going to output column 1. Right. It's a linear search we're being asked to do. Why is it a linear search? A, you don't want to write binary search in the exam because you'll screw it up. But what is there about that data that means you've got to do a linear search? No, it's not. So it is not in order. Okay? Further question they could have asked. Right, so I need to just start at 0. So I am going to learn from my last mistake, and I'm going to call my index P. And I'm just going to say, while P is less than, what was it called? Airports. Right, if you want to know how many rows something's got, airports.length will tell you the number of rows. Okay. While P is less than airports.length. So I'm going to do that loop. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to check. So I'm going to say if airports. Right, so the row is P. So I'm going to put P. And then in brackets I'm going to say column 0. Because that's the one where the codes are. If that is equal to our code. Right, what do they tell us to do? And it just displays the name. So it hasn't asked for the most efficient way to do it. So I'm going to be lazy and run through it all anyway. So if it's there, I'm going to say console.log. And that's going to say airports P. But this time I want column 1. There's the end of my if. I'll do a P++, and then I'll end my while. That's it. Okay. A lot of the problems that you get in the exam, I don't know why they focus so much on this. will be to do with processing linear arrays, which was the first question, or 2D arrays. Okay? Usually in some form like this, where you've got two sets of data, you're looking at one set of data and you're reading off the one that's on the same row, or the same column, depending on how they've done it. When you look at the mark scheme, one thing that they will give you marks for, even if you don't get a full solution, iterating for the right distance. So if you can just remember how to iterate over the length of an array and set a while loop up, you'll get a mark. Incrementing, you'll get a mark. And then the other marks prefer doing an if with the correct indexing and then outputting the right thing. So lots of marks you can pick up, but you got that mark for just say, give me your code. Alright? Always look for that. It's the same thing you were told at GCSE. Easy wins.